TuneIn, Alexa, ESPNPC.com, Facebook, YouTube, and in your car at 101.9 and 104.3. Wherever you go, there we are. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Monday's weather forecast. Partly sunny this afternoon and evening with a high near 79 and a wind 8 to 12 miles per hour. Slight fog and some clouds tonight, very little wind, and a temperature of 68. About the same tomorrow, around 78 with slight fog and some clouds. Slightly foggy and partly sunny Wednesday and very warm around 79. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Introducing Southern Breeze Primary Care. With 45 years of experience, owners Holly Gay and Lisa King bring warm, friendly care, Southern charm, and a family vibe. They are the pros in youth sports, physicals, general health care, BioT hormone replacement therapy, certified DOT exams, and Coast Guard physicals. Southern Breeze, 107 West 19th Street, Suite B, 850-248-8002. Walk-ins are welcome and insurance is accepted but not required. Southern Breeze offers breezy solutions for your healthcare needs.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
Do you want to eat like a local? The Local 115 is now open. Local drinks, local sports, and local food. Delicious oysters, crab cakes, steamed seafood, gumbos, salads, paninis, wings, wine, and cold beer. Nothing fried. That's right. No fried foods at Local 115. Amazing local food with an exciting local sports and mural theme. Eat like a local at the Local 115. 115 Harrison Avenue, downtown Panama City.
Signworks, a business serving businesses since 1985. Everything from signs and banners, vehicles and boats, magnetic and real estate signs, contractor signs, and much more. Signworks can do large format, full color printing too. Signworks, a real professional in the business world. Call Signworks at 785-8899. Signworks, 850-785-8899.
Life can throw a lot at us, but what helps us through it is knowing we have a place where we feel loved, grounded, and safe. A place where we belong. A place called home. But for thousands of youth living on the streets, there's no such thing as home. Out here, it's a predatory world that can destroy lives forever. At Covenant House, we care for homeless and at-risk youth, working in communities just like yours, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Here, these kids will get a shower, clean clothes, nourishing meals, and a safe place to sleep. Our caring staff teach life skills, offer stability, and encourage kids to believe in themselves so they stay off the streets for good. We're committed to giving lost, scared, and hurting children a place to go, a place to call home. To help or get help, go to safeplacetosleep.org.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
And that's out of the ballpark.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Broadcasting Golf Plus Studios. It's the Inside Drive. It's the next evolution of sports talk radio. The biggest stories and the biggest reactions.
Now.
And now we're taking...
With the first pick.
This is the last ball you got to bat.
The Inside Drive. From college to the pros. Interviews with the newsmakers, sports betting, your phone calls, and more. And now, The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good Monday morning. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. 3 days until the 2025 NFL Draft gets underway. We're going to have lots of draft content coming up this week, including Alan Sandage joining us on Thursday. Looking forward to seeing what his thoughts and opinions are on the draft. I've got a few comments and reports from a few different people in the Bleacher Report world in this first segment, just kind of summing up what we're looking at coming up here at the NFL Draft. Of course, you can listen on 104.3 in Panama City Beach, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, just search it up, ESPN Northwest Florida. You got the Coach James Hale Show from 7 to 9, Inside Drive from 11 to 1, and of course, the Afternoon Underdogs from 4 to 6 p.m. 3 great live and local shows. You can also download our free mobile app inside the Google Play or Apple Store. All you got to do there is search up 104.3. And then also in that app going on right now, we're giving a few T-shirts away. All you got to do is open up that app, smash that enter the contest button, but don't break your phone unless you got a good warranty. But I don't know if you want to do that anyway. And you could win a 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida T-shirt, an Inside Drive T-shirt, as well as a Golf Plus T-shirt. We appreciate Alan Watts for sponsoring the studio here for the Inside Drive. Again, that's in our mobile app. All you got to do is go to the Google Play or Apple Store and search 104.3, and that bad boy will pop up right there. Unfortunately, the race to Talladega is officially over. It ended with a good run on Good Friday last week, and I think we had, a couple winners. Obviously, it was a couple winners, but a couple fast callback times there, and I know we got to get those prizes in their hands, and they'll be heading up to Talladega Super Speedway up there in Talladega, Alabama, here in a week from Sunday, I believe.
Jackson State Jeff was our first caller.
Yep.
2 seconds. That pole position and stayed right there the whole time. And then next was Madman Paul Ritchie.
5 seconds, right?
5 seconds, yes, sir. Indeed.
That's good racing times. Good racing times. But, again, draft coming up this Thursday. Last but not least, head over to ESPNPC.com. Scroll down right there. I think it's at the top of the page now. That's Scorpion TV. Over 2,000 on-demand channels. That includes pay-per-view, NHL, NBA. Well, now you're in the playoffs, so everything's on national television. But during the regular season, all those different sports, you can find all the games. And it's baseball season. The Braves got the sweep of the Minnesota Twins. I think now, 8-13 on the season?
8-13. Hey,
on the come up. It's got to start.
We're on that, and we're on the way.
Yeah, no, absolutely on the way up, and that's why it's a long season. You may start off bad, but we're chipping away at it. And a sweep over the Twins is obviously a very good way to chip at that. But again, if you want to watch Braves games, all sorts of stuff, and if you love movies, if you're a movie buff, I know David's giving away, I think, a Pepsi or something like that. If you watch all 10,000 movies, on demand, and then obviously let us know how long it took you. Hopefully, we're still doing radio.
Log all of those
seconds. You got to log the hours. Yeah. Yep, absolutely. But again, that is Scorpion TV. You can find it on our website, ESPNPC.com. Also, while you're out there on the internet world, you can obviously download the free mobile app. But my mind just went blank, David. How was your Easter weekend?
Hey, it was great, man. We were at the same service.
We were
together. Didn't even know that until I saw the picture, and I was like, when I was walking into the auditorium, or not the auditorium, but the lobby, I'm like, oh, that looks very familiar. So. Yeah.
Yes. We took a picture of the McKinneys, and McKinney's took a picture of us.
There you go.
It was cool.
And I saw them on the way out.
Nice. Nice. That's right. That's right. You did indeed say that. But yeah, great weekend. We had a little 7-on-7 tournament with the Beach Marlins. This was a premier 7-on-7 tournament, and we held our own pretty good. We played in pool play. Obviously, they do pool play and then bracket play. The pool play is just to see where you're seated in bracket play. But, pool play, we actually ended up playing 2 out of the 3 teams we played ended up being the number 1 seeds in the bracket. So, not too bad. We scored a touchdown every game. We did win our second game 18-10. We made a bet with the kids. We make the kids do 10 push-ups every time they drop a ball in practice. So we did the old switcherooski where, we may need to incorporate that with Dynasty too.
I've always wanted to do something like that, or at least, give me 10 laps.
The lid has been taken off. The lid has officially been taken off. But so we flipped it and said every time y'all scored a touchdown, we would do 10 push-ups. I haven't done my allocation yet because I just don't know how many push-ups I could do at this point. But Donnie did his allocation, and it kind of seemed to motivate him a little bit. But great games out there. They won the second game, again, 18-10. And And then we ended up playing the North Florida Jets, which is actually a lot of kids from around this area in our first playoff matchup, and got the dub in that one, I think 22-6. And then we had to play the number 1 seed in our second playoff game, and that didn't go so well because we were the highest seed in like the second half of the seeding, so we got the part of the bracket that had to go through the number 1 seed.
That's always tough, but do you feel like y'all are progressing as a team?
100%.
Especially for Liam, maybe third or fourth tournament now, playing in the 7-on-7.
Yeah.
So once you learn how that game goes and how it differs from flag football, I'm sure that the guys are getting better.
Yeah, well, and, it takes time to develop chemistry with the receivers, how fast they run, the timing, all that stuff. That's a real thing, and that's why Dynasty and Miles and Taggart and Liam and the kids we've been playing with for a long time have developed great chemistry and kind of know where to look. But it's been great for him in development just because he's working on the 3-step drop, 5-step drop, ball out as soon as you finish that drop. So the routes that the receivers are running are crucial for all that timing stuff. But it was a great event, and congratulations to the teams that won it. We got one more next weekend, and I think that's our last one for a while. Then we're going to switch over to travel basketball with Chris Fall and the Gulf Coast Warriors. So let's go. It's travel, but it's like a lot of local tournaments. So we're kind of dipping our toes into travel a little bit. But I'm looking forward to that. They've got a good group, and they're getting there. They're getting there with their chemistry, and Chris Fall's just such a great basketball coach. Like I tried it I think that was last fall, and it was not pretty. But Chris has just got a great formula and great. It's fun to be a part of, and Liam's really enjoying it. So appreciate Chris Fall, Brent Dillard, all those guys. I know the summer flag football registration is out now, in addition to volleyball registration, and I believe they're doing basketball too. So rec basketball, volleyball, and flag football all coming out this summer from Southern Elite Sports.
Man, Brent and Chris are going to be busy
fellas.
No doubt.
Hey, that's why I always want to give them as much kudos as I can, because they are busy, and all that stuff usually happens in the evening. So they do a good job getting people where they need to be, and a lot of organization and a lot of admin work to make that stuff happen. But again, we appreciate what they do. All right, just some draft topics coming up or coming into the week. Steelers have reportedly shown some love for Shedeur Sanders and Jackson Dart entering the draft. While the Pittsburgh Steelers wait for Aaron Rodgers to make a decision on the 2025 season, I'm sure you did. I didn't get a chance to talk about Aaron Rodgers last Friday because I would much rather have Earl talking about all the stuff he talked about, and then obviously Jay was there. But
I'll be honest with you, man, we didn't really talk any current headlines on Friday.
Yeah,
because we had Dave. I'm saying on the afternoon underdogs, because we had Coach Dave Ford in, so we were talking a lot of mental health, and then we had Coach Brian Haddad in talking WrestleMania. So
nice.
Yeah, it was one of those.
That's what he said.
I came in,
you're just kind of.
I was good to go.
Yep, I love it. But yeah, I think I don't have it in front of me, but I know he said he was on the Pat McAfee show and basically was calling out, I believe, the GM or owner of the Jets, basically saying that, I had to fly all the way across the country for a minute conversation about, do you want to keep playing football? Well, you might as well find somewhere else. So he kind of aired that out a little bit. So I don't know what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if there's a landing spot. And it wouldn't be a bad thing if he just kind of hung it up, not because I don't want to see him play, but because he's had a fantastic career. And, sometimes the stars line up and the opportunities are a little bit different. But anyway, getting back to the Steelers and Shedeur Sanders, Jeremy Fowler discussed Sanders and Dart on Sunday's SportsCenter. Noted Pittsburgh has some love for Sanders at the number 21 pick. He also pointed out there's some love in the building for quarterback Jackson Dart. Sanders' note was part of a larger conversation about whether Colorado's signal caller will fall in the draft. Fowler listed New Orleans Saints as a team that has done a lot of work on the quarterback, and the Cleveland Browns possibly if they trade in the first round after selecting Travis Hunter, number 2. It kind of seems like all these guys are moving into that. You guys are going to take Ward, Tennessee, with the number 1 pick, and number 2 pick from the Browns. They're going to end up taking Travis Hunter. So it's kind of, and then Abdul Carter is the consensus. I think their odds are like negative 10,000, negative 6,000, and negative 4,000. So the bookies in Vegas currently think that number 1, 2, and 3 is going to be Ward, Hunter, and then Abdul Carter.
Well, what do you think the Giants should do, though? Should they go with Travis Hunter? And they have said they're going to let him play both sides of the ball, so that's good, I guess. But do you want defense? Do you want Abdul Carter? I guess with Travis Hunter, you're getting a little bit of both.
Yeah.
But are you in the window to be dealing with an experiment? But I mean, at the end of the day, every pick that you make in the draft is an experiment.
Yeah.
So I mean, I really am intrigued to see how many snaps Travis Hunter can play in the NFL and to what level he plays defensively as a cornerback, defensive back, and as a wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt. I mean, doing it in college is one thing, super special, but NFL is a whole nother ballgame. You know, the amount of film and studying you have to do in the NFL is way more than college, and you know that's why you don't see a lot of guys, or don't really see anybody in this day and age playing both sides of the ball. But could Hunter do it? I think he could. I think, like we talked about, I believe last week, we'll have a lot of work on one side of the ball and then maybe some packages for the other side of the ball. And you know, hopefully that's okay for him, because I think he's going to find out real quick how much faster the NFL is than college football. Can he keep up? I'm sure he can. I mean, he's an unbelievable athlete, one of the best we've seen in a long time. But the Giants kind of in the mix if they trade up, as the Rams have love for Tyler. Is it Show? Shug. Shuck, that's right. I knew it sounded like a CK at the end.
It does not sound how it's spelled.
No doubt. Tyler Shuck reportedly in the mix if Giants trade up, as Rams have love for this particular quarterback. Louisville quarterback Tyler Shuck is reportedly getting interest from multiple teams as the 2025 draft draws nearer. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reported on Sunday's episode of SportsCenter that the New York Giants are eyeing Shuck as a potential day 2 prospect or a trade-up candidate. He has also named the New Orleans Saints as another team that could be considering him. He's getting some buzz out here. He's getting some buzz here out of Louisville. He worked out for the Giants yesterday. So this is a team, the Giants, that have been looking at their options where they can't go quarterback number 3 if they want to get one day 2 or maybe move up. Shuck appears to be in that mix, Fowler said. The Saints obviously like him as well, so he's a quarterback with the size, the arm strength that has intrigued teams. If that weren't enough, the Fowler added that the Los Angeles Rams could target Shuck and to stash behind veteran starting quarterback Matthew Stafford. I also know the Rams have love for Shuck, that they like that big, tall pocket passer, big arm, Fowler said. This is considered a weak quarterback class, so if you have those things like Shuck does, you're probably going to get elevated a little bit. Shuck is ranked the number 7 quarterback prospect in the Bleacher Report NFL scouting departments on the draft big board. He is much older than the typical draft prospect, as he will turn 26 in September following his 7-year college career. That is wild. ESPN Mel
almost 2 whole college careers there.
No doubt. I mean, really, you could have an associate's and a bachelor degree, and then do one more year, whatever you want to do. But yeah, that'd be interesting. I mean, the Rams at some point are going to have to be looking elsewhere for quarterbacks, because I think Matt Stafford's probably got, I would say, 2-3 more good years in him.
I feel like that's safe, but then, I mean,
look at some of these guys
get on that TB12 diet. Next thing you know, he's doing ayahuasca. I mean, who knows?
Just do all the things that keep you in the league forever.
But the way that he's, the amount of hits he's taken.
True.
Especially up
when
there
it was
in
Detroit, yeah, no doubt.
Exactly.
No doubt. Didn't mean to cut you off there.
No. I mean, we're just on the same page. That's just how it goes. But yeah, I would agree with you. 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, no, and maybe they see this as an opportunity. They trade up the pick in that second round and could make some stuff happen. But yeah, kind of get into this particular draft. As one NFL scout, Jeff Legwold, says, this 2025 draft is thin on top, and NIL probably carved out day 3. There is belief within the NFL that the top and bottom of the 2025 draft class isn't as deep compared to past years. Maybe this is how it's going to look from now on, but this year feels different. A longtime AFC scout told ESPN's Jeff Legwold, it's pretty thin on the top of the board, thick in the middle, and NIL probably carved out the back end of day 3. While top prospects such as Miami's Cam Ward and Colorado's Travis Hunter have shown promise throughout the pre-draft prospect, as well as their respective 2024 seasons, it may be more difficult for teams to find immediate impact players in the back of the first round. Day 3 of the draft might also be feature fewer breakout players as underclassmen could choose to return to their respective schools and continue earning NIL deals while targeting the 2026 draft instead. New York Jets senior football advisor Rick Spielman discussed the concept in December of 2024. There's going to be a Saturday pick and even a late Friday pick. If they are going to be a Saturday pick and even a late Friday pick, why not go back to school and try to improve your draft stock, Spielman said via CBS Sports' Josh Edwards. Because I'm sure those colleges have some kind of not only NILs, but whatever insurance packages, whatever the total financial package is, it's probably worth more than they're going to get not a first or second round pick. Or they're transferring to another school. 70 underclassmen declared for the 2025 draft, making this the third consecutive year in which fewer than 100 underclassmen have done so. According to the AP, at least 100 underclassmen entered the draft each year from 2016 to 2022. Teams without a top first-round pick may end up finding the most success on day 2 of the 2025 NFL draft. Do you agree with that NIL is kind of pushing these back-end draft prospects where they were deep in the draft, 5th, 6th, 7th round? You think they're pushing them back to college a little bit because the money may be a little bit better for them?
100%. Yeah. 100% agree there. And I mean, to an extent, it could be better. I think we need 5 or 6 more years of seeing how all of this is playing out to really see if it's good for the game or if it's problematic.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, these kids, they got to make decisions on what's best for them. And, if staying in college is what's best for them, the trickle-down effect that has on rosters for kids coming out of high school and stuff like that, that's where I think you might see the talent, spread out a little more, across the group of 5 schools and maybe even D2 schools, stuff like that. Because, at the end of the day, these kids that have the opportunity to go play in college at the next level, there's just not going to be as many roster spots on these high-level programs. So do you think that you could see some growth in the group of 4, D2, FCS, whatever it may be, because of that?
Growth is in the sense
better players going to those schools.
Better players, but we've always had good players at those levels. The problem is that you're not replacing 5 stars with 4 stars. You're replacing 4 stars. Your top tier 4 stars normally with 3 stars. So I don't think we see parity. But who knows? I mean, who really knows, especially when we get into seeing how, all right, we're going to, with the JUCO, the whole Diego Pavia thing, Vanderbilt's quarterback, with the JUCO, the way that's going to play out, I think we're going to see a lot less high school players being recruited.
Yeah, which is kind of a shame because, that's, kind of why a lot of these really talented kids, the ones that want to work hard, have that opportunity to go to that next college level. We didn't get to talk about it on Friday. I'll go through it real quick. But as many of you probably have already seen or read, Lee Corso to leave ESPN's College Game Day. He will take the soul of college football with him. Obviously, he's been in college football, College Game Day. He started it back in, I believe it was 1987, and has done almost 40 years with College Game Day, known for putting that headgear on, which I think started in 1995. I read that in another article. Obviously, he's been a staple of College Game Day for a long, long time, but he's going to turn 90 this year. So I think, him kind of moving on from College Game Day is probably the best for him and his family and the rest of his time, here on planet Earth. But his last one will be the first College Game Day of this fall, which I believe is August 30th.
Correctamundo.
And then he'll be hanging it up after that. Unbelievable time. Almost 40 years doing the same thing. And in College Game Day, I wonder who they're going to get to. Was Pat McAfee?
I don't think that I don't think they need anyone to replace. They're in such a good position with the addition of Nick Saban, Pat McAfee, Desmond Howard. I mean, the whole ensemble just does a great job. And it's awesome for Lee Corso. What's his saying? Not so fast. And that's exactly how his career went. Not so fast. 40
years doing the College Game Day. What a run. I mean, there's been a lot of fantastic runs and people retiring as of late, but he's certainly a staple in college football, as College Game Day is as well. And I don't think it would be where it is today without Lee Corso. So congratulations on a fantastic career. And then, of course, congratulations on your retirement as well. When we get back, we'll be joined by Al Carl. We'll be recapping our NHL action from yesterday and previewing the games coming up tonight. He is live, sitting in inside the Capitals arena right now, and he just sent me a picture. There's nobody in there, but they got a big game coming up tonight. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Boom! A two-run home run!
The Atlanta Braves are back.
Here comes the throw! It's late! Braves win!
And ESPN Northwest Florida is your exclusive radio home for Braves country.
He just wrecked that thing! Straight away center, a homer for Riley.
Sales, Strider, Acuna, Ozzie, Riley, Profar, and Coach Snitker lead a stellar lineup. Listen live nights and weekends on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Monday's weather forecast. Partly sunny this afternoon and evening with a high near 79 and a wind 8 to 12 miles per hour. Slight fog and some clouds tonight, very little wind, and a temperature of 68. About the same tomorrow, around 78 with slight fog and some clouds. Slightly foggy and partly sunny Wednesday and very warm around 79. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Introducing Water Clear Pools, the home of the 10-week pool guarantee. We guarantee custom pool completion from permit to your first swim in 10 weeks or less. Water Clear Pools is the premier pool builder for the Margaritaville development on Highway 79. Free quotes and custom pools anywhere Northwest Florida. Call now, 850-835-4177, or see our website, waterclearpool.com. Licensed and insured. License number CPC 1459723.
Are you looking for a place to take a leak? Do you have a truck, tractor, or other hydraulic equipment leaking or not performing as it should? At Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, we can get you back to work. Do you have a busted or leaking hose? We can typically replace them while you wait. Hydraulic cylinder or pump needing repair? In many cases, we can have it back to you the next day. Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, 6840 Highway 77 in Southport, just south of Tractor Supply. The best place in town to take a leak.
Now back to the Inside Drive, live and local from the Gulf Plus studios. Welcome to the Inside Drive, the next big thing.
It's a big, huge, giant deal.
Sports betting, huge reactions, your calls and real-time coverage of the stories you're following on ESPN Northwest Florida.
We are back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. It's that time of year, David Hayes. NHL playoff hockey doesn't get much better than that, and I am excited that our good friend of the show, Al Carl, will be joining us each Monday when he can. Obviously, he's the lead ice technician for the Washington Capitals, so he's busy sometimes, but is affording us at least about 16, 17 minutes of his time here on the Inside Drive Weekly, which we appreciate very much. Al, that picture you sent gave me some chills. Reason why? Because I know what it's going to be like come 7 o'clock your time, 6 o'clock our time coming up tonight.
Yeah, I'm sitting here now, Ryan, and yeah, they're putting the rally towels out. They're spelling out "Let's go Caps" with some white.
I
towels.
saw that. That looks awesome.
Yeah, the cameras are going up. I'm sitting here and I'm looking around. This place is going to be a madhouse in a matter of a couple hours. And this is my 16th season, Ryan, in the NHL. This is probably, I think this is like my 8th or 9th playoffs. I can tell you this right now, pal. It's not getting old. Like
I don't know how it could. I don't know how it could. Just listen to the excitement in your voice. Just kind of get you fired up. Well, I know we're going to kind of talk about the NHL as a whole here. You know, obviously yesterday we had 3 games on the docket, and kind of got a little one-sided in a couple of those games. The Wild Knights game was close there for a while, then Vegas kind of pulled it out. Did you kind of expect that in those series that was going to be a little dominant? Obviously, the Carolina Hurricanes beat the Devils 4-1. Devils just didn't look up for that game, and Carolina got out. But it's that home ice advantage in the playoffs that's just so tough to overcome. And then, of course, the Toronto Maple Leafs kind of took it to the Ottawa Senators 6-2 in that one. Toronto looked like a freaking good team. That was wild. That was good to watch. And their first victory, and this is their first one in first game. That's hard to say. So their first game of each series the last 3 years they've lost. So they got over that hump and won their first game. But did you kind of think these games were expected to go that way, or did you just think it was that first round game or first game of the first round and the excitement of those home teams?
Well, I think the fun part and why people call the Stanley Cup playoffs the best playoffs there are in sports is because there is so much parity. Like the fact that like these teams, they did so well at home yesterday. I mean, they earned that right to have the home ice advantage. They should be, if they're not all favorited in their series.
Yeah.
But I remember I was watching. I specifically watched the Carolina and New Jersey game yesterday. Obviously being from Jersey, I still follow the Devils. I have a lot of close friends there. But it's just Carolina at home. They had a very, very good record at home this year, and personal experience the past 2 years with them just completely trucking the Islanders. They step it up in the playoffs.
Yeah, and
they're a very good playoff. They're a very well playoff tested team. Toronto was always motivated. They're the Dallas Cowboys of hockey. They need to get. They got out of the first round a couple years ago, but then they got trucked in the second round. So they need to get their stuff together. And with the new coach there, with Craig Berube, maybe he's the guy that could possibly get them over the humps that they've been encountering the past couple of years since he has won a Stanley Cup with St. Louis back in 2019. And then Vegas is just Vegas. They're just good.
I mean, they come into the league, 2018, 19, something like that, and I feel like they've made a deep run almost every year they've been in the league. Just crazy to see the Vegas team be so good with an expansion draft.
Yeah, 100%. What they've done is, their expansion year was 2018, and I know that for a fact because that's who the Capitals beat. That's who OV beat for the Stanley Cup, the Capitals back in 2018. And that was kind of like the who do you root for? Like, this is actually pretty cool. An expansion team in the final, like really big underdog story with all these no names, but like, Ovi, like, and I can tell you this, he did not disappoint when they won. All the videos that surfaced with him, being a borderline kid.
Yep.
Winning that thing.
No doubt. Obviously, we talked to you. He broke the goal record of Gretzky's goal record. How much momentum do you think that gives him coming into this opening series against the Montreal Canadiens?
I don't know if it gives them. I think they're just glad that they got it, and they got it when they did, and they got it over with. I know it was Ryan. It was an absolute crazy ride. That was a lot of fun to be a part of, and I know everybody got caught up to it, into it. Like I said, I got a lot of close friends on Long Island still. They knew the assignment when he broke it. They appreciated everything that happened there. But, over and done with, we got that over with. Now, I believe, actually, they did an interview with Ovi, and he point-blank said it's all meaningless if they don't win it all. So, like, the task is at hand. They've had a couple days off since their last regular season game. They kind of, won a little lackluster at the end of the season, which is fine. But that's the beauty of the playoffs is you can kind of throw out what happened during the regular season. This is a whole different animal. This is a borderline war out there. So, like I said, yesterday, the teams that were supposed to win, they did their job. Vegas, I guess they went ahead late in the third, and then they got the empty netter. But Toronto was all business. Carolina was all business.
They look good,
and we're hoping that Washington does the same thing today and just get this done.
Yeah, no doubt. We got a question from one of our listeners, Al. If you got the chance to go out on the ice and play with these guys, would you be down, and what position would you play if so? I obviously, followed you figuratively and literally playing hockey there at Roxbury High School, so I know you've obviously had a long career playing hockey leading up to what you're doing now. But, obviously I think you'd probably be down. What position would you play if so?
I'd be down, but probably face down on the ice.
Yeah, no, all of us would.
Either by getting run over by somebody or by just being completely exhausted because I can't keep up with them. But I was a forward. I started out as a defenseman growing up, and then halfway through high school, my coach is like, "Okay, this is what I want you to do. I'm going to put you at forward, but I want you to play defense in their end." So I was pretty much the first guy in on the forecheck, cause the turnovers, and then sit in front of the net and maybe get a tip in or a rebound or something. But it was I was a forward. I really my backward skating kind of tailed off towards the end. So as long as I'm going forward, that's where I would go. Yeah. But this is it's when we played actually on Friday night here. We had the ice was open. We had a little pre-playoff skate with the ice crew.
Oh, nice!
And it was really cool. It was a lot of fun. The guys had a great time, but it is just so much slower than professional. It's not even. It's like 7 levels up from where we were. It's amazing the speed that this game is played at.
It's unreal, and especially if you get to witness it in person. So, David, that answered the question you asked me if he's ever had the chance to skate on the ice, and obviously they played with the whole ice crew. I think he said yesterday. So that's pretty neat. That's pretty neat stuff. So we got 4 games on the docket tonight, but obviously you're hosting the Canadiens there. What do you have to do? Is there any different prep you do for playoff games? Obviously, you want the ice to be in the best shape it can for each and every game. Anything that changes when you're hosting a playoff series?
As far as ice-wise goes, no. I mean, but we are in mid to the end of April. The temperatures are getting warmer outside, so that's something every arena has to take into consideration, especially the further south that you go. Like that Tampa, Florida series, I'm sure everyone's got the Doppler radar outside to make sure that the outside temperatures don't affect what's going on inside the building, because that does make a huge impact, especially in some arenas. So as far as ice-wise goes, now we just got to keep everything standard. The players have played here 41 games. And they have an expectation. We have it where they like it. They're happy. So we just want to give them what they want. Whether good, bad, or different for the visitors. But the home team, this is what home ice advantage is. It's not, it's being comfortable on your own sheet, and to go along with the last change. That's the real big home ice advantage that I don't think people realize.
Yeah.
Well, it's all home ice. Well, you get the last change. You get the line combinations that you want.
Yep, you get to match up every
that's
time.
Important. So, but yeah, as far as we go, I mean, there's a lot more TV here now. Since we're playing the Montreal Canadiens, we have all their networks down here, plus ESPN, plus our network, because you are allowed to locally broadcast first round games. So, it's just a little more chaotic backstage, but we are, these guys are professionals from all the networks, and we're professionals, and we all got our jobs to do, and we all get it done, and we're going to have a great game tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. That kind of made me think of another question when you were talking about that. So they give you the input on kind of how they want the ice to be. I didn't really think of that as a home ice advantage kind of thing, but I guess, they can kind of give some input, and maybe there's some input against the Canadiens too. So, expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they wouldn't really tell me what to do. They just tell me if they like it or not, and then I'll make the adjustment.
Kind of some
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so I mean, they'll tell me, hey, it's a little warm in here today, and we got you. We're working on that. Just stuff like that. But other than that, the ice is hard, ice is soft. We can make adjustments. I'm encouraged to go talk to the players. I've met with them a couple times this year, and all's been good. So I've kind of just been leaving them be and just doing my thing, that we've been doing, like I said, for 41 games now. I'm not going to change anything now and throw them for a loop, so.
Whew, that's something I didn't really think about, and, makes perfect sense. So, if it's soft, you kind of turn up the chillers a little bit, and if it's too hard, is that kind of how that works? I'm ignorant to how you keep the ice in different shape.
Yeah, it could. Ice being soft could be a number of things. It could be the actual refrigeration plant not pumping enough through, but sometimes that's not the answer. Like I said, on a warm day, a couple of doors get open. Like when the doors open this afternoon in the arena, we're going to have some warm air and some humidity, and everything comes shooting into the building. And sometimes that'll come into effect, especially when you play later into the year. May, June, July. Well, not really July, but May and June. But we got a nice day outside today. We got 70 degrees. We really shouldn't have any impact with that. But yeah, there's a lot that goes into it with air temperature, with humidity, with ice thickness. Sometimes it's, because, there is such a thing as too much water on the ice, so you don't want it too thick to the point where it's not freezing to the appropriate temperature, not freezing with enough time. So, yeah, there's a lot to go into it. It's not just driving a machine around in circles.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's kind of what people don't realize, too, about, the golf course. The soil temperatures matter. The pH of the soil matter. There's all sorts of factors. I know with Bermuda grass to come out of dormancy, which is a warm season grass down here in Florida, soil temperatures have to be between 65 and 75 degrees. Is there a threshold of a temperature outside that you really, obviously, if it gets into the upper 80s and 90s, that's obviously not good. You want to really monitor that. But is there like a threshold where it gets to where if you stay below that, you're kind of okay?
Yeah, well, the NHL has their mandates, and a lot of it has to deal with air temperature, humidity, and that'll equal out the proper dew point that they want. That's the big number, the dew point. I don't know if you remember that from Earth Science in high school.
Yeah.
But but they as long as you have the humidity, at like 40%, the air temperature, when doors open or whatever, it's going to be around 58, 59, 60 degrees, somewhere in that area. Then that's the sweet spot. You go too cold, then everything gets brittle, and if it gets too warm, then everything gets soft, and it's a game of inches, but it's a game of degrees. Really every degree means something. It's the craziest thing. You go 1 degree too, one way or the other, and it just turns into a mess.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of the behind-the-scenes things people don't even realize when they're watching on TV or walking into that arena. Obviously, you've kind of mentioned this before. How important is it for the Caps to get off to a great start tonight in the opening game again in the series?
Oh, you got to like to play from ahead. They were a very good team this year, playing from both behind and ahead. But I know as far as my recollection goes, there wasn't too many times this year at home where we had to pull our goalie to try to tie it up. It seemed like we were always playing ahead in the third period. So I think this team likes playing from ahead, and of course you want to defend home ice. And there's a reason they worked hard this year. They won the division. Getting game one and getting out ahead in the series, that'd be a nice little feather in the cap to get things started. He said, but that's kind of what you always want to get the split at home. When you're the visiting team, you always want to get the split at home on the road, so that you get the home ice advantage. So it's important to defend your arena, to defend your ice, so that things don't get too out of control too quickly.
Yeah, no, absolutely paramount. That's why you work, like you said, it's why you work so hard to get that home ice advantage in the playoffs. I noticed that we have 2 games tonight that are back-to-back nights for a couple of these teams. How tough is it to play in back-to-back nights? Hockey is a very physically cardio shape-demanding sport, and to go back-to-back, especially in the playoffs. I know they don't go back-to-back too often in the regular season, but here we go, a couple instances. I think it's the Blues and the Jets that are going again tonight, and the Avs and the Stars as well. But how tough is it for teams to go back-to-back, especially in the playoffs?
Yeah, it's not ideal, and it really depends on the team. There are some teams that thrive in that. They have the conditioning where they can handle it, and they actually excel at it. It's pretty crazy. That's a stat. Whenever a team, they'll usually show it too, especially towards the later in the season. Teams will probably have about maybe let's just say 6 or 7 back-to-backs throughout the season. Some teams will be 5-0. Some teams can't handle it. Some teams will be 0-5. That is very, very team dependent, and that's, I guess, the teams that do well with it, that's the credit to their conditioning coach, and I guess their nutritionist, right? You got to make sure that you're eating right to repair everything from the night before. But they usually it's a tough thing to do. I know. Remember when I played in college, we had Friday night games, Saturday night games. That Saturday night game was tough for me. So
yeah,
it's not easy, but some teams they do a very good job with it.
Yeah, and I was not looking at the right days. There's nobody played yesterday that's playing tonight. I think it's a little bit further down the road in the series. All right, let's talk specific about the games coming up tonight. I want to get your thoughts on who you thought was going to win. Obviously, we'll start with your first one there. The Canadiens at the Capitals. The Capitals are -190, so a good favorite in this one. Obviously, I'll let you. I'll say it for you. I'm assuming you're going to go with the Capitals in this one. Better team, home ice advantage, and just I can't wait to watch that one because I know they're going to be firing out of the gate in front of the home fans.
Yeah, this is where the home ice is going to be too, because they say we were really playing top notch going into the playoffs at the end of the season, and Montreal had to fight for their lives, and those are the teams that you're going to have to watch out for. Montreal's been playing playoff hockey for about a month now. So they did very well. They kind of tailed off a little bit at the end. They got in on game 82. So they're going to be ready to play. But they've been playing playoff hockey. I mean, this is why the Stanley Cup playoffs are great. Yep. This is a quote unquote 1-8 matchup. But you know what? This is not going to be an easy out for the Capitals. But of course, taking Capitals game one. Let's get like a 4-2 victory here. Get everybody ready to go for Wednesday.
Kind of a similar story in this next game. The Winnipeg Jets, your President's Trophy winner, kind of had that locked up for a little while, and just like the Canadians were kind of been playing playoff hockey for the last month, the St. Louis Blues certainly doing the same thing and are playing some good hockey going up against the number 1 seed in all of hockey. I think they're another heavy favorite, minus 190, the Winnipeg Jets are. Playoff game up there in Winnipeg, kind of like the old days. And what do you think about this one? St. Louis get it done on the road?
Yeah, they more than can. They rattled off 12 wins in a row to get this playoff spot. And I think at the beginning, sometime end of March, I think they set a franchise record for most consecutive wins. So, like I said, they've been playing playoff hockey. They've been playing great. They gave the Jets a run for their money. I believe that game was tied, and I think Winnipeg took the lead with like a minute 30 left. So that it's a coin toss game. Sure, let's go with the Blues to even up for no reason whatsoever other than, it's the Stanley Cup playoffs and it usually balances itself out. But, Winnipeg, they are the favorites. They should win, but no one's going to be shocked if St. Louis gets that's a 1-8 matchup, if you want to call it that. But is it really? Because the Blues have been the best team in hockey since the Four Nations break. So, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, and on Saturday, like you said, the Jets got the 5-3 victory in that one. So St. Louis, played well to score 3 goals, but really need to potentially tie this up going to St. Louis, I should say. It was 2 days ago, not yesterday. That's what I screwed up, David. It was the Saturday games. That's why they said 1-0. I guess I just assumed it was yesterday, which it certainly wasn't. Avs and the Stars, man. Avs kind of put the butt whooping on the Stars on Saturday, 5-1 in that one. Can the Stars kind of recover and maybe steal a game 2 here?
Yeah, they most likely can. They can't have that happen again. This is supposed to be the marquee matchup of the first round. And I know the last time I was on, we talked about the Central Division and just what it's the best division in hockey. The Atlantic's a close second, but the Central has pretty much 5 of the top 10 teams or whatever you want in that division, and you got 2 100-point teams going at it. And I was shocked when I saw they kind of handled them. Then Colorado handled them in the beginning, and then I caught the end. I'm like, oh my God, 5-1, jeez.
Yeah, they just kept scoring there at the end. It was wild.
Yeah, and so Dallas doesn't have a choice right now. I mean, they need to at least make a closer game out of it to go back to Dallas with some type of motivation or some type of positivity. They can lose. Obviously, it's not a must-win game because it's only game 2. But if you're going home down 2-0, and you got handled both times, that's the problem.
Yeah. Last but not least, coming up tonight, another kind of I guess you could call it a marquee matchup. The Oilers at the Kings. This is where I'm going to probably put something down tonight, David Hayes. +10 for the Edmonton Oilers. Obviously, they're on the road in Los Angeles, but I think this is the 4th or 5th straight year that the Oilers and the Kings have played one another in the at some point in the playoffs. So another big matchup. What do you think about this one, Al?
Yeah, this is the 4th year in a row they've been matched up in the first round with the new playoff format. They've been finishing in second place and third place, respectively. I think maybe Edmonton won the division 1 year, but this is the 4th year in a row. And the roles are a little reversed right now. Right now, Los Angeles is the higher seed. They have the home ice, and they've been playing the better hockey. Edmonton was rattled with injuries, but they've got, I'd say, probably about 75% of those guys back. Including Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, and obviously those, you say it's a marquee matchup, and it's because of those 2 guys.
Yeah,
I do believe Draisaitl led the league in goals this year. So I mean, they have the offensive firepower. The key with the Edmonton Oilers, the key with any team, you run into a hot goalie, it's a problem. And the Edmonton Oilers, I do believe Henrik Lundqvist on TNT he ranked the goalies, and I don't think it's on anybody's surprise that Stuart Skinner was on the bottom of that list. And that's kind of the Achilles heel. So, Edmonton's going to have to beat you 6-5, 5-4, somewhere in that area to win a game. But the Los Angeles Kings have just been playing phenomenal lately. That is a tough matchup. And I said the prior year, Edmonton won the last 3-1. I think this is going to be the time where Los Angeles gets it done and moves on.
I like it. Well, Al, we ran a little long. I appreciate you jumping on with me, and have just so much fun tonight. I know you're going to, but it place is going to be rocking tonight for the Caps-Canadiens game, and that one is in the Central Time Zone here at 6 p.m., followed by the Blues-Jets at 6:30, the Avs-Stars at 8:30, and then the Oilers-Kings at 9. Some great hockey on the ESPN family of networks coming up tonight. Al, appreciate you coming on with us, and looking forward to chatting next Monday.
Yeah, glad. Thanks for having me on, Ryan. Looking forward to it. Enjoy the games tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Will do. That's Al Carl. He's the lead ice technician for the Washington Capitals. He'll be joining us all throughout the playoffs here, the NHL playoffs, that it is. When we get back, we're going to dive into some NBA, some golf, and maybe some college baseball and some college softball. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
The new app from ESPN Northwest Florida has up-to-the-minute sports news, interaction with local hosts in real time, easy download and no credit check, live streaming, real-time traffic and programming schedules.
Here's how to order.
Download our free app from the Apple Store and Google Play. Then lock it in and rip the knob off. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Get your mom a beautiful color gemstone that she'll cherish and wear for a lifetime from Tracy's Fine Jewelry. And just in time, Tracy's Fine Jewelry is offering our entire collection of color gemstone jewelry, rings, earrings, pendants, and bracelets at 60% off. That's right, 60% off our entire selection. The largest selection and the lowest prices are just some of the reasons why people choose Tracy's Fine Jewelry to find the perfect gift for Mother's Day. Tracy's Fine Jewelry, 2621 East 15th Street in Panama City.
Reliable Copy Products is proud to be the exclusive dealer in Northwest Florida for Kyocera office equipment. Reliable Copy Products has been committed to providing professional, personalized service for the last 35 years. They understand that the right equipment does not always fall within today's budget requirements, so they offer several options for the equipment you need today for the growth you expect tomorrow. Call James Smothers at 784-6601, 784-6601. Reliable Copy Products on Harrison Avenue, just north of Bay High School.
When you bring your vehicle to Panama City Toyota for repairs or maintenance, you'll get the warmest welcome around.
That's because we see service differently.
It's not only an expert team that can help with everything, from simple adjustments to a new set of tires. It's also a team that values your time, so we make your experience as quick and comfortable as possible. Because we're committed to service that goes beyond. Only at Panama City Toyota.
Now back to the Inside Drive, live and local from the Gulf Plus studios. Join the best of A winning Inside Drive with all your lines, props, and covers.
Winning
on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't want to talk about it too much in depth because we'll be jumping on with Doc A tomorrow at 11:20. And obviously he is the NBA expert. I am not, but I do know that the Oklahoma City Thunder are pretty dang good. They won their opening round game against the Memphis Grizzlies, who had to come through the play-in game, of course. 131-80.
Oh, 50 burger on them.
51 burger. Whew, that's wild. And SGA only scored 15 points, so it's not like he was the dominant factor in this one. The whole team just seemed to be pouring everything in. But OKC takes a not surprising 1-0 lead in that series, as the Memphis Grizzlies had to play some more games to try to get in to the series playoffs. But so, maybe an advantage there for OKC, and they're just so darn good.
They are good, man. And if your top player is only scoring 15 points and you're winning by 50, watch out.
Wild stuff. Over there in another matchup, we had, I'm going to say your Orlando Magic went up there to TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts, and kind of, expected what to happen happened. They lost 103-86 and are down to 1-0 in that series. As David said, now that we're in the playoffs, the unders, are starting to look a little bit more appetizing, depending on the matchup that it is. Only a few teams scored over over 100 points. OKC scored way over 100 points. I don't know what the over-under was on that game. Then you had the Miami Heat at the Cleveland Cavaliers. Again, the Miami Heat had to come through the play-in game as well. The Cavs kind of got up in that game and really never looked back. Ended up winning that one 121-100. So a good start for the number 1 seed there in the Eastern Conference. Had a great game there from the Heat. Looks like, I'm trying to see if I can read fast enough. Who led the team? Donovan Mitchell led with 30, and Darius Garland was right behind him with 27 total points. And then Ty Jerome had 28 points. So really three guys stepped up to the plate stepped up to the court in that one and led the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are again the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference.
And they're I mean, really, OKC, they've been above the radar, but Cleveland has kind of been just under the radar, no one's really
and they never went the other way. Like, they
Right.
started so strong this season and kind of hung in there and really didn't change anything. You also had the Clippers and the Nuggets last night. That was a close game, came down to the wire. I know Kawhi Leonard did not have a great game, and the Nuggets won 112-110 to take a 1-0 series lead. Over there on the Eastern Conference first round, you had the New York Knicks playing the Detroit Pistons. That over probably hit. New York Knicks won that one 123-112. A lot of expectations for the Knicks in this particular playoffs to make a deep run. I think the coaches may be on the hot seat if they don't make a deep run in this one. And then last but not least, the Minnesota Timberwolves took care of business on Saturday against the Los Angeles Lakers. Were you surprised in that one that Minnesota did so well against the Lakers?
No, not really, because Minnesota with Anthony Edwards and
who has 4 children with 4 different women since 2003 to 2023 and 2024. He's the Tyreek Hill of the NBA.
I was about to say he's got a lot of work to catch up to Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, he's got to get about another 6 or 7 in there, but
no, I'm not necessarily surprised. I think that the Lakers kind of got overinflated with, or at least hype-wise, with the Luka trade. Can they be that good? Absolutely. Can they get into the Western Conference Finals? Absolutely. But do I think they will? I don't. Now, I do think they get past Minnesota, but I think the stumbling block will be in the next round.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe I do have the bracket in front of me. So their next, if they were to be able to win, they would take on the winner of the Rockets and Warriors series, which the Rockets and the Warriors series almost seemed like, Golden State may not have been the 7 seed and more like the 2 seed there. I did skip a couple games from Saturday, and I apologize, David Hayes. It was your Indiana Pacers took down the Milwaukee Bucks 117-98. That was one of those games, too, where they kind of got up in it and really never looked back and cruised to that victory at home. And then the Clippers, I already talked about the Clippers and the Nuggets. That was a overtime victory there for the Nuggets, close one. And then let's see, got that one. My computer, I moved all over the place. The Heat and the Cavaliers, we got that one. Last but not least, the what I just mentioned, the Golden State Warriors and the Houston Rockets. That under, I got to imagine, certainly hit in that one, as it was a 95-85 game there. And Curry certainly doing his Curry stuff like he always does in the playoffs. He hung 31 points in that game. Jimmy Butler, playoff Jimmy, with 25 points in that game, including 6 assists and 7 rebounds. And I think Draymond Green had a good... Draymond Green only had 4 points.
Yeah, that's not what he does, though.
Yeah, that's true.
He gets in gets into the mind of the opponent and plays good defense, or rebounds and tries to play good defense.
Yes. Speaking of kids, this made me think of this story. So we got this one kid on our 10U team, Kyle, and he plays receiver and he plays middle linebacker. He's a big kid. You know how you jam at the line and all that? Mm-hmm. Well, one kid, I think this was this was the second team we played, the Navarre Raiders. Anyway, the kid tries to jam him and he just shoves him down to the ground, runs past him, catches it. But anyway, on the next play, I had never seen this in any of the football we've played in before, and I'll probably see it more often now. But the next play, that kid kind of comes up and gets close. As soon as the ball snapped, starts swinging at Kylan.
Oh, no.
Immediately gets thrown out of the game, and I was just baffled on what I saw there. But
was that one of his first times playing Pylon 7-on-7 and being used to flag football? Not Kylan, but
the other kid?
Yeah.
I have no idea of knowing. Could be. I doubt it, though. They seem like they've played together for a little while, but you never know. Could have been his first time. And
I just remember our first time playing, and it was like culture shock has entered the building.
But we didn't swing back at anybody. We just tried to get a little tougher and stand our ground. But that made me think of that. I want to tell that story really, really quickly. Getting back, I think that was the last game over the weekend, and then we've got some games coming up tonight. We got the Detroit Pistons and New York Knicks. New York Knicks, as I mentioned, have a 1-0 lead. That's up there in MSG, Madison Square Garden, where if you take the subway in, it comes in underneath the basketball arena. A little fun fact there. And the Clippers and the Nuggets will play tonight as well. Denver won that first game in overtime, 112-110. And then we'll talk about the games coming up tomorrow night with Doc A tomorrow. Going to the golf side of things, Roll Tide there, David Hayes. Justin Thomas gets his first victory in 3 years, and it came by way of playoff and a beautiful, I don't know if you saw the putt or not, but a beautiful walk-off, about 15, 20-footer to beat Andrew Novak in the playoff to, like I said, earn his first PGA victory in 3 years. So hopefully he's been feeling the pressure. I liken it to Rory a little bit and his Augusta National. Will Justin Thomas now go on to win a bunch of tournaments? We shall see. But he got that monkey off the back there.
Man, a lot of playoffs so far early in the season. Rory winning 2 of them, right, at the Masters and the Players, and then now Justin Thomas. I do hope, I think for the PGA's sake, I'm not even saying it because Justin Thomas is a bammer, but for the PGA's sake, I think that it's good for him to be playing good golf.
No doubt. Moves all the way up to number 2 on the FedEx rankings. But yeah, and I was going to kind of talk about that. Rory playoff wins, Justin Thomas playoff wins, and he's right there. What's really cool about this season, they're filming Full Swing for their next season as well, or whatever season it will be. Yeah, it'll come out probably next winter. But Rory's win was on there, and then Justin Thomas breaking through with the playoff win was on there as well. So they got lucky. They're going to have a lot of great content for the upcoming Full Swing documentary series, which is a great documentary series if you've never had the opportunity to watch it. I certainly enjoy it. FedEx Cup rankings, you've got Rory McIlroy in first, in first, as deservingly he should be. He's won the Players, Signature Event, and the Masters, and he's played really well in a lot of other tournaments as well. Justin Thomas moves all the way up to number 2, but is considerably behind Rory McIlroy. Scotty Scheffler, number 3, imagine that. Russell Henley at number 4, Sepp Straka at number 5. Rounding out your top 10 is Ludwig Aubert at 6, Corey Connors at 7, Maverick McNeely at 8, Colin Morikawa at 9, and J.J. Spawn coming in at number 10. A lot of names up there that we really haven't heard before, but that's kind of the nature of the PGA Tour. You got guys coming up the ladder, but you still got the staples up top: McIlroy, Thomas, and Scheffler. You guys are listening to the Inside Drive. We got to take a quick top of the hour break. Don't forget to download our free mobile app and enter the contest to win a trifecta of ESPN Northwest Florida t-shirts in addition to a Golf Plus t-shirt. We'll be right back with our Afternoon Delight debrief.
Keep the game going with ESPN Northwest Florida. Just because you get out of the car doesn't mean the Sports Talk and Live play-by-play have to end. Just say, "Hey Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida." From Michigan Avenue to the man cave, from the car to the kitchen, we've got you covered. Keep the game going. Hey Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Monday's weather forecast. Partly sunny this afternoon and evening with a high near 79 and a wind 8 to 12 miles per hour. Slight fog and some clouds tonight, very little wind, and a temperature of 68. About the same tomorrow, around 78 with slight fog and some clouds. Slightly foggy and partly sunny Wednesday and very warm around 79. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
CBC Construction is looking for a few good men. At CBC Construction, our greatest strength lies within our talented team. Join us and be a part of a dynamic company that values its people. We offer a tremendous opportunity to create a future for your family and the Florida Panhandle. CBC Construction is now hiring. Call us at 850-740-3815 or visit cbcconstruction.com to learn more. CBC Construction. Be part of a winning team.
WPLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lynn, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Is your restaurant looking a little tired from the long off season? Is your office a little offish? Start the new year off right by giving them a fresh start. Fresh Start Cleaning is now accepting new clients. Ask about their complimentary hood cleaning services. Fresh Start Cleaning. Get clean again with Fresh Start. Call 850-771-6917, 771-6917, and ask about their complimentary hood cleaning services.
Broadcasting from the Gulf Plus Studios, it's the Inside Drive.
Sky rockets in flight.
And now, the afternoon delight debrief with the three degenerates from the Inside Drive.
Afternoon delight.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Sky rockets in flight. Afternoon delight.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. 104.3 in Panama City Beach, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. You can watch, like, listen, comment, subscribe, share. That's Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. All you can do is search up ESPN Northwest Florida. Do us a huge favor. Share the Facebook post for us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. I don't even know what you call it when you do Twitch. Sign up for Twitch, whatever it may be.
Follow or subscribe or something like that.
Just pay attention to it, I guess, if you're a Twitcher, but don't be a tweaker, just a Twitcher.
Just a Twitcher.
Oh, anyway, we are hanging out here inside the Golf Plus studio. Alan Watson will be joining us in the next segment. We'll get his thoughts on Justin Thomas breaking through to get a PGA Tour win for the first time in 3 years. And, of course, ask what's going on down there at Golf Plus. Also, don't forget, we got a trifecta of T-shirts. A Golf Plus T-shirt, an ESPN Northwest Florida T-shirt, and I threw in an Inside Drive T-shirt as well. All you got to do is open up our app, which you can find in the Google Play or Apple Store. All you got to do is search 104.3. Open that up. Enter the contest. It's super easy. Got to get some swag, right, from ESPN Northwest Florida. Got to represent. And we appreciate you guys downloading that app and helping us grow our following. All right, Afternoon Delight Debrief.
I'm ready.
I'm ready. All right, this is sports related, but it's kind of interesting. And it comes from the legendary coach, Mike Leach. I don't know if you saw this floating around on the internet or not.
No, I have not.
Perfect. That makes it even better. Legendary football coach Mike Leach once devised an unconventional strategy involving a tiny football player who could be physically thrown over the defensive line during crucial goal line situations. Obsessed with this visionary concept, Leach frequently revisited and passionately advocated for it behind the scenes. Despite the skepticism of his colleagues and players, former players recall Leach's commitment to the plan, which one incident stood out vividly. I'll never forget the day Coach Leach walked into the locker room, cradling this tiny 40-year-old man, fully dressed in team uniform, named Gary, recounted one former player. He stood there completely serious, announced, "Everyone, meet Gary. He's your new captain." We all just stared, bewildered, while Gary awkwardly waved and murmured, "Hey guys, I'm Gary. Glad to be here." Coach then boldly declared, "Gary is set to smash the Division I record for rushing touchdowns. And Bill here, he's pointed emphatically at our largest lineman, a renowned shot putter who will be launching him across the line." It was an interesting concept, putting a football into a tiny man's hands and then throwing that man like a football. The strategy underwent rigorous and inconclusive testing during intense full contact drills. Although the Gary toss produced inconsistent and occasionally alarming results, Leach never fully abandoned the concept. He continually toyed with variations driven by the potential brilliance he saw lurking. coaching. His fixation even extended into recruiting. Notably, during the recruitment of a quarterback prodigy, Kyler Murray, Leach reportedly raised eyebrows with some unorthodox questions. Throughout Kyler's, this is funny because Kyler Murray, throughout Kyler's recruiting meetings, Coach kept gently asking if he could hold him, which understandably unsettled Kyler at first. Eventually, Kyler hesitantly agreed, revealing another insider. Things took a sharp turn towards weirdness when Coach Leach suggested testing Kyler Murray's toss ability by attempting to throw him over a whiskey barrel in his office. That's when Kyler finally got creeped out enough to bolt out of the room, sprinting off with his famous tiny but lightning quick legs. I remember Mike watching that tiny man run off and said, with tears in his eyes, "We could have made history together, my little friend." And that's pretty much the end of the story.
That is from the great mind of Mike Leach, man. Not many.
No, not many minds like his. And,
no.
Really kind of coined the air raid offense and, maybe the shot put little man offense as well.
Could you imagine seeing like a Kyler Murray, instead of the tush push, you had
the throw over the goal line.
Yeah.
That would have changed recruiting for sure. It would have given a lot of other people some opportunities.
The dwarf dart.
Yeah, the dwarf dart. Did you just come up with that?
Yeah, I was trying to think of something. My first one was, I was going to say midget, and I was like, that's
gotta be
frowned upon these days.
Little person leap. But yeah.
That's good right there.
Mike Leach, known for trying to go outside the box a little bit. Rest in peace, Coach Leach. You were one of the best characters and minds offensively in college football. All right, got another one. This one's interesting. High school basketball player, this is from local12news.com. High school basketball player charged for fouls, allegedly breaking a competitor's nose. I want to get your thoughts after this one. A high school basketball player faced felony charges due to fouls, including allegedly breaking a competitor's nose. According to WBOY, an 18-year-old Gage Ketterman of Bowden, West Virginia, was charged as an adult for allegedly swinging his elbow at an opponent deliberately during a basketball game and breaking the player's nose. The station reported that authorities received a call on February 27th from a woman who said her 17-year-old son had been assaulted during a basketball game that same evening. The mother told authorities that the boy was elbowed in the face by a student playing for Harmon High School basketball team, later identified as Ketterman per WBOY. According to the news outlet, the boy had been taken to an area hospital due to a broken nose that was bleeding profusely for more than 4 hours. Authorities received several videos of the game and reportedly observed Ketterman swing his elbow directly into the face of a player on the Union High School basketball team, WBOY reported. The outlet noted that police also observed other alleged incidents of Ketterman hitting Union players in the back of the head. Authorities described Ketterman's alleged actions as intentional and criminally malicious in nature and requested the following warrants during his arrest. 1, for malicious assault. 2, for attempted malicious assault. According to the New York Post, Ketterman was released the same day of his arrest on Monday after he posted a $12,500 bond. He's scheduled to reappear in court on May 22nd, per the publication.
Yeah, this one's kind of tough because we're playing sports. At the end of the day, you want to have good sportsmanship. There's a difference in a elbow kind of flying loosely or whatever just because you're playing hard, and there's a difference in doing something where the law decides.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen any videos, so
right,
but I kind of see, part of the sport is when you grab the ball, you try to clear your box, your space by swinging your elbows left and right. Now, there's a fine line if you're, intentionally trying to hit people, as elbows are, can be a little dangerous.
Yes, but I would hate to see someone's life get ruined because of a criminal charge because of playing sports and who knows how they're practicing, all of that stuff. So I don't like it, but again, without seeing the video, I don't have the strongest of stances, but I don't want to see people getting in trouble for playing a sport. There's a difference in a dad, coming down the bleachers and fighting a referee or something. Yes, he should be criminally charged at that point, but it's hard for me without seeing the video to say, yeah, he deserves this. And how old is he?
18. He's 18. The kid that got hit was 17. So yeah, he's being charged as an adult. Yep. Yeah, not good, that's for sure. All right, this is English is full of funny contractions. I came across this one. I'll try not to go too fast. Seriously funny. kind of a, I guess, a double negative, or what do you call it? Ooh, got a call. I'll hang on to this for a second. Maybe we got an opinion or somebody saw the particular incident, or they're just calling to say hi to David. We'll find out here in just a second. You guys are listening to the Inside. Let me find some other good afternoon. We haven't done it since Friday, so I'm sure there's a bunch floating around there on oddnews.com. It's my favorite spot to get the stuff. Got a caller?
He doesn't want to get on the air, but Ryan said the Kyler Murray or the
Mike Leach,
the Mike Leach play should have been called the bro throw.
The bro throw.
There you go.
I like that.
The little bro.
The
throw.
little bro throw. Yep. No, that's good stuff. Okay, I'll keep going with this. So the first one was seriously funny. These are serious contradictions. Original.
Drew Gerhardt just texted in. Sorry to cut you off, but it pertains to the previous story.
Yeah.
He says he deserves the charge. Wait until you see the video. So.
Ooh, I'll have to look it up in the break. Yeah, if the video is really egregious, I understand that for sure. Original copies. That's another funny one because can a copy be an original? I guess again they ask for a copy of your original birth certificate there at many places. Tragic comedy. One we always think of. Pretty ugly. Found missing. Got a call? Who do we got? Who do we got out there?
Dave.
Hey, Dave. How are you?
Hey, it's doing good. I want to let you know I did see the video of that kid swinging the elbows, and it was definitely intentional. He actually tried to do it one or two times before he connected, and he missed. But he was definitely going after that player. And when you see the video, you're going to say throw the book at him. It was intentional.
Well, I'm going to have to definitely check out these videos, that's for sure. But, obviously egregious enough to get 3 felony charges as an adult. So, sometimes, bad decisions can lead to a lot of hills or hurdles you're going to have to go over for the rest of your life. But anything else you want to dive into real quick?
I totally agree. You don't want to ruin the kid's life, but this was very intentional, and I have no problem throwing the book at them. Once you see it, you'll agree too.
All right, I am going to, 2 people commenting on I'm going to have to check.
We're just going to go live and just start watching the video now, huh? I'm trying to look it up over here as well.
All right.
It's bad. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.
Thank you for giving us a call. Take care. Yeah, let's see if I can. All right, I'll watch it in the break because I don't want to take away from this segment. But anyway, found missing.
Well, you missed out on your Masters commentary, so just commentate that.
Yeah, okay. I like that. I can do that. Hopefully my volume isn't turned up on my computer. We got to accept those cookies first. Broke opponent's nose, charges malicious wounding and attempt. Oh, my sound is on. Hopefully you can't hear it.
You can hear it a little bit, but if you're just gonna sit there and watch it, then
all right. The news reporter's got a heck of a mustache and a nice comb over. So
there we go.
He's looking good. This is from WHSV3 TV. The 18-year-old Gage Ketterman broke opponent's nose during game at Union High School, charged with malicious wounding, attempted malicious wounding. So I guess the other one said assault, which is probably in the same thing. Is it going to show us the video? It better show us the video.
So I looked at Sports Illustrated. It did not have the video there, so I'm going to Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter's where everything lives, kind of the stuff you really want to see. But anyway, I'll get back to it. If you find that video, David, just either send it to me or let me know. Fully empty, clearly misunderstood, small crowd, open secret, liquid gas. Oh, gas is a liquid. No, I was really stupid. I was thinking of the gas that comes out of a gas pump. Yeah, but gas, the solid liquid gas. So I guess I confused myself there briefly. Were you able to find that video?
I mean, it's going to have to be one that we find in the break.
Okay, yeah, got it. All right, let me go over to Odd News and see what we got going on over there. One of the best websites if you want to find stuff that's kind of interesting. All right, let's see. We'll start with this one. This is again from oddnews.com. Belgians hunt for hidden beers in Easter event. April 21st, a brewery in Belgium swapped painted eggs for frothy brews when it celebrated Easter with the world's biggest beer hunt. The 5th annual Easter event at Awires, or I'm sure it's some kind of interesting Belgian way to say that, Awyer's Gardens in Lane, Belgium, saw over 1,000 registered hunters searching the grounds for 12,000 hidden bottles of Lutgardi beer. That's a lot of people and a lot of bottles of beer. I would take a little bit longer. Fun fact, I hope there's no kids listening. When I hid the eggs, I doubt there's kids listening, but when I hid the eggs this particular Easter, my short-term memory is just gone kaput. So even after I hit them, I was trying to recount where they were, and I couldn't.
You could have played the game with them.
I could have, but I still kind of am, because there's we did 12, and only 11 were recovered. So there's one hanging out somewhere, but a couple more days we'll probably find it pretty easily.
Was that the best egg? Was that like the one with the dollar bill?
No, these were hard-boiled.
You actually hit real?
Yeah,
okay, cool.
Yep. I did it for way longer than I should have growing up, but my dad always enjoyed, kind of taunting me when I couldn't find eggs. So we continue that tradition, to today. Jim Gaffigan had a great skit. He said, Easter, the day Jesus rose from the dead. What should we do? How about eggs? What does that have to do with Jesus? All right, we'll hide them. I don't understand your logic. That's a great Jim Gaffigan skit when he's talking about holidays and stuff like that and how they make absolutely no sense with that side of things. Anyway, getting back to the 12,000 beer hunt on Easter over there in Belgium. The event began Saturday with a chocolate egg hunt for children at noon, followed by the beer egg hunt that commenced at 12:30. A barbecue at 1:30 happened after that and allowed hunters to relax and enjoy some of their collected beer bounty. The second round of the hunt is taking place on Monday. Wow, they got 2 rounds because they got 12,000 beers out there.
12,000. I mean, that's insane.
That's a big number.
Yeah.
It's a big, and I guess everybody, if they're not going to find equal shares, but everybody would get a dozen beers when it comes to that. This is Afternoon Delight Debrief in a nutshell. World's first sperm race to be held in Los Angeles. Imagine that, Los Angeles. April 17th, an unusual startup announced the world's first sperm race, a race involving actual sperm. It'll be held April 25th at the Hollywood Palladium in Los Angeles. Sperm Racing, a startup founded by a team of young millionaires, they must have been bored, announced representatives from 2 competing schools, the University of Southern California and the University of California, Los Angeles, better known as UCLA, will provide the microscopic swimmers for the inaugural sperm race. The race will take place under a microscopic camera that will track the progress of the sperms as they attempt to cross the finish line. The startup said there will be 3 races held to determine the overall winners. They got heats in the sperm race. And play-by-play.
Do they wear swim caps?
Those are tiny little swim caps. And play-by-play commentary will be provided during each heat. There will be also instant replays, leaderboards, and betting, of course, through approved partners. Sperm racing isn't just about the racing sperm, although let's be honest, that's hilarious. Co-founder Eric Zhu wrote in the Sperm Racing Manifesto, it is about turning health into competition. It's about making male fertility something people actually want to talk about, track, and improve. Zhu wrote that health is a race and everyone deserves a shot at the starting line. Whew.
And that race starts with sperm, the first race ever known to mankind.
I mean, where can I bet on this? And how do they know the different ones? Like, are they getting numbers and, jerseys or something? Whew, that's a lot to digest right there.
Oh,
that's not it. That was not intentional by any stretch of the imagination. Oh, all right. Why did I close down the page? Maybe because we were talking about sperm. All right, let's go back to odd news. Where'd we go? That one threw me for a loop a little bit there, David.
I was not ready for you to talk about.
Neither was I. It just came on odd news.
A race of future life.
That's right. Well, I guess they're trying to find out, if they got issues.
That's how you do that. You do that with experiments. I don't think that you got to necessarily have races for it, right? But hey, maybe it's for a charitable cause.
Or, the charities are the people. Oddnews.com. I think I lost it on my spreadsheet, too. Things are just going downhill quick. Oddnews.com. What's new? Let's see. Oddities. I guess it's odd. It's not just odd. Ooh, I might have stumbled across something even cooler than I used to look up.
Too bad we don't have. I don't think stumbled upon. Did you ever have that installed on your computer?
Mm-mm.
Or maybe it was just a website, but you would just click on it and it would stumble upon some random website.
Wow, interesting.
Would have worked out great for a segment like this.
Let's see. Robots now powered by vodka, just like us. Vodka, is there anything it can't do? In addition to leading to bad decisions, it's now being used to make robots move, which is shaking up science and causing quite a stir. If there's one thing the last few years will be remembered by, it's a lot of things. However, the rise of AI is probably one of the top 5 developments that we wouldn't have seriously thought about 5 or 10 years ago, unless edibles and a Terminator film were involved. Now that every tech company is rolling out its own AI and ChatGPT is an easy way to pretend you're smarter than everyone else, many are starting to wearily acknowledge that machines are learning, and they're learning quickly. And if you'd like to have a drink or two, you might get a little paranoid and think they're coming for your jobs. The good news is that scientists created robots that are propelled by vodka, just like your drunk you know what. If you're coming up with the idea of a drunk robot sounds like something a college student dreamed up while hammered on Tito's, at least part of that is right. TechSpot reports scientists at Harvard came up with the idea. In short, you know the way Cheerios will either mass up together or propel themselves away from each other. That's fluid mechanics, and it's actually known as the Cheerios effect, which probably has the folks at Kellogg's really pissed. It's a little too geeky for us to get into the odd news articles, so click on the link and trust us on this. Scientists wanted to demonstrate the Cheerios effect, and one centimeter 3D printed plastic pucks with an air chamber so they would float, and a miniature fuel tank. And while they could have used actual gas, instead they experiment with alcohol, just like we do in college, using percentage ranges from 10 to 50%. What would happen is, once placed on the water, the alcohol would gradually leak out, propelling the pucks forward. And while Coors or Bud may have made the pucks cluster amongst themselves. And talk about sports and higher intensity alcohol found the pucks moving for up to 500 seconds with a speed of 6 centimeters per second. The article goes on to talk about a little more detail, but basically this seems like a hell of a lot of Svedka vodka ads they used to be everywhere. The Spirit spokesperson said equally parts sexy and disturbing. I'm done.
Hey, you made it to 12:20, brother.
I can't read anymore because there's so many crazy things. Anyway, we'll take a quick break. We got Alan Watson joining us next. Talk a little bit about Golf Plus and not sperm racing over there at USC and UCLA. You're listening to The Inside Drive. We'll be right back.
Your attention, please. ESPN Northwest Florida reminds you it's the law. It's the law. When there's a double red flag, stay out of the water, stick your toes in the sand, grab a cold drink, and listen to live sports.
Swung on, miss, strike 3.
On 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Double play!
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida. The remainder of the day, partly sunny and a temperature of 79 with wind 8 to 12 miles per hour out of the south. A mixture of slight fog and some clouds tonight, a calm wind and quite warm near 68. A variety of slight fog and some clouds and 78 tomorrow. 79 and slight fog and some sun Wednesday. This is your Monday's weather sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
When you bring your vehicle to Panama City Toyota for repairs or maintenance, you'll get the warmest welcome around.
That's because we see service differently.
It's not only an expert team that can help with everything, from simple adjustments to a new set of tires. It's also a team that values your time, so we make your experience as quick and comfortable as possible. Because we're committed to service that goes beyond. Only at Panama City Toyota.
Whether you're an experienced investor or first-time buyer, Beach House will provide you with top-notch service to guide you through every step of the process. We make the real estate process fun and easy through effective marketing, strategic advertising, and always a client-focused experience. From single-family homes to full-scale developments, Beach House Sales Development has you covered. Check them out at beachhousesalesfl.com or give them a call at 850-919-3500.
Broadcasting from the Golf Plus studios, it's the Inside Drive. This is not for the casual fan. This is for the warriors. This is for the legends.
We came, we
saw we kicked its ass.
It's the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Sitting inside the beautiful Golf Plus PCB and Dothan studios, we got the owner of Golf Plus on the line, and that is Alan Watson. Alan, how are you doing today?
Man, I'm pretty good. It's beautiful outside, and we had a heck of a golf weekend and some good business to boot. So I'm feeling pretty good right now. Ryan, how are you?
I'm doing great. That's like the trifecta of Golf Plus there. Beautiful outside, great weekend in the stores, and a great golf tournament this weekend as well. Let's start with the golf tournament this weekend. Obviously, Roll Tide for David Hayes. Justin Thomas gets his first win in about 3 years in a dramatic fashion, making that beautiful birdie putt in the playoff. Playoffs have kind of been the theme this year. Obviously, the Masters, TPC Sawgrass, and it's just there's probably not an answer, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Why do you think we've seen so many playoffs? Do you think the competition's just getting better and better, or do you think we got more guys that are trying to win for their first time?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both of those things, and then I think there's actually a third factor, and the third factor is that the PGA Tour is slightly diluted because of LIV, and you've got some of the best players in the world like Jon Rahm and Cam Smith and Bryson DeChambeau, who are over in LIV, and a few other guys as well that can win. And so when you take those guys away, it leaves some slots for some guys who are not as well known, and then that leads into the point that you made, which is I want to win for the first time because I've got my shot now, because there's 10, 15, 20 extra spots opened up from some of the best players in the world. And so the diluted PGA Tour gives us several reasons why you might see that. I mean, there was a point yesterday at about, I want to say like 1 o'clock yesterday, where you had, I want to say 14 or 20 guys, it was a high number, that were all within 2 shots of the lead. So you could kind of predict with, 8 or 10 holes to go, you could predict the playoff is coming, because there's no way that many people were going to fall off.
Yeah.
So a lot of reasons, but hey, it makes for good sport and it's entertaining. But I also kind of like the tournaments where somebody just steps on everybody's throat and beats them by 8 or 10 strokes, too. Those are fun, too. So, but we haven't seen much of that this year.
No, not this year at all. Something, too, about Harbor Town and the RBG Heritage. We see a lot of playoffs at that golf course. I'm not really sure why. Maybe it's the way it kind of goes down the stretch. I mean, it's not an easy golf course, and for Justin Thomas to, break the course record there is pretty darn impressive. And he's got a lot of course records to his name, and wonder why that is. But anyway, I'll talk about that real fast. He's got the course record at Wailea Country Club over there in Hawaii, 59. Harbor Town, the Pete Dye Stadium course over there at the Player at TPC Sawgrass, both 61s there. Medina Country Club, he shot a 61. The Plantation course at Kapalua, a 61. TPC Kuala Lumpur, 61. TPC Sawgrass, 62. Erin Hills, which is where they played the U.S. Open several years ago, a 63. And then he does own the course record at Wingfoot Golf Club as well with a 65. That just goes to show.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, to have that many course records in your name since you've been on the PGA Tour just, I guess, shows how high your potential is. I mean, and obviously Justin Thomas made that come to fruition this past weekend. Do you think by him getting this 3-year drought off his back, you think we'll see him win a few more times this year?
I don't know about this year because he doesn't know how to stay consistent. He's all up in his own head. And he just really, and that's why he sets course records and then falls apart, because he's in his own head. But I think he wins one more time this year. I don't know if he can do multiples, because I just don't trust him. And I like the guy. I think he's great, and I think he's great for the game of golf. And he's flashy, and he's like, his swing is fun to watch. It's fast, it's aggressive. He putts the lights out when he wants to, and then other days he can't make anything. So he's definitely somebody that, as a golfer, you can relate to, because you're like, why did I shoot 2 over on the front and then 9 over on the back? What happened to me? Where did that go? So as a normal golfer, we relate to these guys who play streaky versus the guys who are just lights out all the time. But I think he may go down in history with the most course records. We'd have to look that up in the stats, but and that's not really anything that gets you into the Hall of Fame, just setting a bunch of course records, but it is kind of an interesting stat, and it does show that he can go low. It's just, man, you'd think he would have won more given his talent level, but you know, there's a lot of other guys out there talented too. So
yeah, that's the hard part. That is the hard part. That kind of brought me to another question, Alan, when you were talking about that. You know, just talking about playing golf in a recreational aspect. Why is it that, you know, front nine, back nine, we draw this line in the sand when we make the turn that we shot this on the front and we either shoot better or shoot worse on the back? I mean, I understand that you just shot one of the best rounds of your life in a previous golf round, and the next time you go out there, you try to do it again and you expect to do it again, and that gets in our way and we shoot a big score. Why do you think that front nine ending and the back nine starting is such a divisive line in our game of golf? We think of it as like ending a certain thing and starting a new thing, but I feel like if we just would keep that as one big, every shot counts to your final score, I think people would end up playing maybe a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, it's happened to all of us. You know, you feel like you've got control over the speed of the greens, or you feel like you're dialed in with your irons, or you're hitting fairways pretty consistently. You haven't had any blow-up holes, no snowmans on the card, no nothing ugly, and then all of a sudden you turn into a completely different golfer on the back. It's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and we've all been there. And it is. Consistency is the hardest thing to do in golf at all levels, and I think it's just a mental thing. I think that's one of the reasons why, like here in Bay County, you know, if you're listening outside of PCB, you may have never played Bay Point Golf Club, but it's a wonderful club right on the bay. In fact, Ryan used to work there for many years, and they have a unique design to the course where you don't actually come back to the clubhouse after 9 like most courses. Most courses, you go out and come back to the clubhouse, then you go out and come back to the clubhouse in the second 9. But Bay Point doesn't do that. So for me, it's kind of like I can stay a little more consistent on that golf course because I don't even really realize when we've, quote, made the turn.
No, that's a good point.
Don't make the turn. And so it's a little bit easier. You're just like, oh, crap, we're on number 12. I didn't even realize we're on 12. Didn't even realize we were on the back 9 yet, kind of thing. But, you know, back to the regular golfers, man, I tell you what, I many, many times have felt like I had the green speeds read, and you make several good holes in a row, and then all of a sudden you miss one putt, and then it gets in your head like, well, maybe I don't know the speed of the green, and then you miss everything the rest of the way, and that's why you have that blow up. But, I mean, I'm sure you would agree it's like 90-something% mental. It's not like your physical ability melts down in 2 hours. You know?
Certainly mental, no doubt about that. Certainly mental. David, do you know what they call when you shoot really good on one 9 and really bad on the other 9?
Oh, I have no idea.
Perfect. It's called a Ray.
Oh, a Ray.
So a Ray Charles and a Raymond Floyd. I had members that would say that all the time when I was in South Carolina because obviously Ray Charles is blind, so one of the 9s you were blind, not playing really well, and then Raymond Floyd was a professional golfer who was pretty good. So
I guess I shoot Rays every time. It's just Ray Charles.
Gotcha. And you've been getting out there a little more and hitting it up. I think
I played Panama Country Club as a scramble.
Mosley, right?
Yeah,
football
for Mosley. A lot of fun. Had a great time. We didn't win. Not surprised. Had a great time, though. That's all that matters.
Absolutely. And you recently got your putter regripped over there at Golf Plus, right?
Yeah, man. And my first putt of the day was a birdie putt with that. And that was my whole goal. I was like, man, if I could just land a birdie putt, then getting it regripped was all worth it.
You did it right off the jump.
Right. The rest of the day was like, doesn't even matter what happens now. I hit every shot with my putter.
I like that. I like that attitude. But, you know, getting to grips, obviously putter grips are very important, and whoever's doing has got to make sure the grip flat part is perpendicular to your club face. Otherwise, you may not be squaring up the club. But I think it's another mental thing. And, you know, Alan, you can talk about it a little bit, but, you know, why is having good grips on your golf club so important to your golf game?
Well, the number one reason is traction. And
yes.
I had some people come in last week with grips that were 8 years old, and other guys' grips were 12 years old. And, of course, those grips were slick as a baby's behind.
Yeah.
So you can't go out and make your best swing, and then when that club touches the ball or hits the ground, it's going to twist and turn in your hand if you don't have a sticky, traction-y, you know, rough kind of something with some way to hold on to that grip. And so you got to think about it like tire treads on your car or truck. If you have bald tires and you go around a curve too fast, you're going to slide and skid and move out of the lane and probably cause an accident. And with grips, it's kind of the same thing. Like, you just are risking hitting bad shots even when you make a good swing, you're risking hitting bad shots if those grips are slick because they're turning in your hand whether you realize it or not.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's that's obviously the physical part of golf and that connection with the clutch. Your only connection to the club is with your hands. I think, too, kind of like David said with making that first birdie putt, sometimes when you get a new set of grips and you can feel that good grip in your hands, it's mentally going to make you think you can play better. I'm willing
Absolutely.
to, 100% say that that's the case.
I 100% agree, man.
Perfect.
And it was a beautiful blue color on it, and I upgraded the thickness of it. It was a little bit more of a fatter grip than my previous one.
You Super Stroke, Fatso,
Super Stroke, I think Fatso 3.0 is the one I went with,
nice. Yeah. And it goes all the way up to, the 4.0, Alan?
I think 5.0.
They go to a 5. They skip 4, believe it or not. As crazy as that is, the numbers go 1, 2, 3, skip 4, and then go to 5. The 5 is really big. We don't sell a lot of those.
Like the tennis racket, basically.
It's it's for most people, it's just more than they're used to holding on to, shall we say? And so it's just too big. But the 2 and the 3 are the more popular sizes, and I just ordered. I'm really excited, David. You might like this. Just got, and I don't know how big of a nerd Ryan is like us, but I just ordered a new limited edition Darth Vader Star Wars 3.0 grip from Super Stroke. So I'm excited about those. Those should be coming in a few weeks.
Nice. Those will be popular.
Yeah, they'll look sharp, too.
And that's the thing, too, and you do a great job carrying a lot of cool, unique, custom stuff that people are looking for. And, you can really have a lot of fun. You could dress up your ferrules. You could get different types of grips. And you can really, you can put paint fill in your golf clubs and stuff like that. And that's a lot of the services you guys offer, right?
Yeah, we try to make it fun. I mean, I've got James Bond 007 Golf Pride limited edition grips on my clubs right now. We try to have some stuff that people haven't seen before. We try to have some fun head covers and some fun ball markers and different things where people can kind of express their individuality. And, whether it's just repping your favorite college team or pro team with a ball marker, or whether it's getting an FSU fairway cover for your golf bag, or whether it's getting maybe you're a Navy vet, you want a Navy golf bag. We've got stuff like that too. So we're always trying to carry lots of stuff that allows you to just, have some fun out there, because we know there's days when you're not playing great, but you still want to look great, feel great. And sometimes that's, like you said, fresh grips, or maybe it's some fresh accessory or whatever, but we love that kind of stuff here at Golf Plus.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to look good to play good. I've always said that. It's an easy encouragement. And the cool thing, too, is, you have so many accounts with so many different companies. So if you don't have it in the shop, you can special order it for people. We got a lot of holidays coming up. Mother's Day, if you got a golfer mom in your life. Father's Day is coming up in, basically 2 months. So, that's where you want to get over, is to Golf Plus and take care of the golfer in your life. Is you've got lots of opportunities. If it's not there, you guys can order it.
That's right. Yeah, we are also part of a buying group that's nationwide. So if there's some weird account that maybe we've not even heard of, or maybe it's just an account that is not as popular in this region, so therefore we don't carry it, I can reach out to all my guys and girls that are in that buying group, and maybe somebody up in Maine's got it, or maybe somebody out in, Colorado's got it or whatever. So I have access to not only tons of accounts, but I have access to brands through my network as well. So yeah, well, like Ryan said, if there's something you need, something you've heard of, maybe something you've seen online, just give us a shout. We want to try to, keep that money local if we can, and try to help you, find what you need, so you don't have to service the internet too much.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know you guys had that, so that's awesome. I'll make sure I keep reiterating that to everybody.
National Golf Buyers Association. There's like 70 stores nationwide, literally from California to the East Coast and everywhere in between. So there's a whole bunch of us, and we go to the big manufacturers and get special edition product made. I mean, literally, we had a baseball themed golf bag in last year that Sun Mountain made just for us. Nobody else had it. And it was kind of, people would come in and they'd say, I've never seen this bag before. And I'm like, yeah, you can't. Like, nobody else has it. Just our stores have it. So, we try to do things like that as well.
Very, very cool. Well, I did have kind of a personal question a little bit. How did you end up, starting Golf Plus, and how did Golf Plus kind of came to be? I've always been curious about that.
Yeah. So in 1988, my father, who was a physician, bought a building next door to his doctor's office, not knowing what he was going to do with it. He loved the golf shop that he was used to going to when we used to live in Birmingham. We were living in Dothan at the time, but we used to live in Birmingham. And so he loved this little local golf shop up there. So he researched it. Turned out it was a franchise. He bought the franchise for that area. And so we had a golf shop open in October of '88 in Dothan. That was called Pro Golf Discounts. That was part of a franchise that's no longer, around. But anyway, so I worked there after I got out of college. So 95 through, I'd been in the golf business since then. And when my father got ready to retire a few years ago, I had already been working in the business for so long. I bought him out and just kind of continued that legacy. But I had always wanted to have a store either in the Auburn market or in the Panama City market, or both, because they were both underserved golf markets that needed a good golf shop. And so, we did some research and found things were good here, and so we came down here. But yeah, my dad just having that crazy vision of like, I'm going to buy this building and not even knowing what I'm going to do with it, and then turning it into a golf shop. And then my goal was never really to work in the golf business, but I had been in retail for years, and I loved it, and I loved golf. And it just sort of worked out. When I got out of college, there was a space in that store where there was a guy that was leaving, and so I went in to help out and just never left.
Awesome. What's your favorite thing about, working in the golf retail side of things?
I say, this is what I say to people every day. I say it's golf every day, but it's different every day.
Yeah.
And that's what is exciting to me about it, right? I love the fact that 1 minute we're helping a left-handed golfer figure out a driver, and the next minute we're talking to a junior and we're helping him or her get their clubs figured out, and then the next minute we're doing some regrips, and then it's a reshaft, and then we're helping somebody with a warranty question, and then so on and so forth. It's literally different every few minutes, and that's what's exciting to me. I love meeting people. I love, especially down here, because we get to meet people from all over.
Yeah.
It's just, there's just something about retail that's always really jazzed me up for some crazy reason. I know a lot of people probably wouldn't even dream of standing behind a cash register, but that's very little bit of what we do. Mm-hmm. Most of what we do is very personal interaction, and I love working with my hands, so I love like building clubs and customizing things and all that. And then there's the tech side of it as well, having to know all the data stuff for the fittings. That challenges my brain, and I really like that. So being an adult ADD sufferer where my brain never wants to sit in one place anyway, this is perfect for me because I'm constantly bouncing from one thing to the next, and it just works great for me, and I love it. And I think that's why people for years have responded to what we do and the way we do business, not because I'm great, but just because I know that my passion shines through because I love what I'm doing. And I think people see that and they're like, that guy's actually happy at work. Like, who's happy at work? He's actually having fun. And then people leave. I've literally had people stop at the door, turn around and look back and go, you know what? This is actually fun. Like, spending money was actually fun. Getting what they wanted was actually fun versus obviously sometimes you leave a retail store or you leave a restaurant or you leave a car dealership or whatever it is. And you kind of think, well, I had to do that, but it wasn't enjoyable, right? It was drudgery. Yeah. I don't want to deal with it. We love making it fun for people, and so I hope that keeps going. You know what I mean?
And that's what it's all about. One, you got to love what you do, and when your customers come in and know how much you love what you do, and they're having fun, that makes repeat customers for life, and that's the success that you need to do in this business when it comes to having retail shops. Alan, just remind everybody real quick before we jump off where your two awesome locations are.
Yeah, so on Panama City Beach, we are right next to Firefly at the shops at Edgewater, and so we're pretty easy to find there. And then in Dothan, we're on Montgomery Highway, which is also known as 231. We're just inside the circle. We've been in the same spot in Dothan for 36 years, believe it or not. So, we really appreciate all the support, and we're glad that we can support you guys over there at ESPN as well. And, we're just happy to get up every day in Bay County and see palm trees and sunshine, baby.
Absolutely. Well, Alan, we appreciate you very much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this beautiful day, and we'll talk to you next Monday.
All right. Talk to you later, guys. Thanks.
That's Alan Watson, the owner of Golf Plus right here in Panama City Beach and Dothan off of 231 or Montgomery Highway, however you want to say. You guys are listening to The Inside Drive. Final segment on this Monday afternoon coming up next.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The Afternoon Underdog.
I could care less about, he spent his own dime to come over. I don't want to care when you go to Egypt to miss practice.
Right.
I don't care. You got more money. You got more money than Moses over there, I suppose. I suppose there's no one knows this about Moses. But
speaking of clever, there.
Oh, there you go. It's all in how you get to be here all week.
4 to 6 weekdays. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
When you bring your vehicle to Panama City Toyota for repairs or maintenance, you'll get the warmest welcome around.
That's because we see service differently.
It's not only an expert team that can help with everything, from simple adjustments to a new set of tires. It's also a team that values your time, so we make your experience as quick and comfortable as possible. Because we're committed to service that goes beyond. Only at Panama City Toyota.
With over 65 years of combined experience, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to help you take your collection to the next level. They carry all the new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies. New and vintage cards in Pokemon. They sell and trade cards and are always looking to buy. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards is open 7 days a week at 752 West 23rd Street, down from Academy Sports. It can always be reached at InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
Are you looking for a place to take a leak? Do you have a truck, tractor, or other hydraulic equipment leaking or not performing as it should? At Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, we can get you back to work. Do you have a busted or leaking hose? Hydraulic cylinder or pump needing repair? If competitive pricing and a quick turnaround are what matter to your business, come see us at Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, or you can give us a call at 850-326-3000. Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, 6840 Highway 77 in Southport, the best place in town to take a leak.
Now back to the Inside Drive, live and local from the Gulf Plus studios. We're betting the limit and covering the spread.
Viva Las Vegas!
The Inside Drive with Ryan and Jay.
Thank you. Nice to be in Vegas.
On ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. All right, all the baseball state tournaments are set and ready to go. We got some action tonight right here in Bay County. Let's dive through these and wish all these local teams the best of luck moving through the regionals. Hopefully we got some regional champions and maybe some state champions, maybe some state Final Four action. We'll start in Class 2A in the Region 1 side of things. We got the Bozeman Bucks who won their district tournament. They're the number 3 seed in Region 1. Again, this is Class 2A. They will be playing at Bozeman High School for games 1 and 2 as they have switched the state tournament to 3-game series, which I think was a good move because, baseball, pitching is such a big thing. So this gives teams an opportunity that, may need a little rest or stuff like that. So Bozeman will be taking on Bowles for games 1 and 2. First game will be tonight, 7 p.m. That might be 6 p.m. in the Central Time Zone. I never know with the FHSAA and the Max Prep websites which time zone they are living in. I think it's Eastern, so likely to have that game starting at 6. If you know better, please let me know. Then on the 3A side of things, Bay did win their. Did they win their district? I can't remember if I don't think they won their district. That's why they are not hosting. Yeah, they did win their district. They got a tough draw though in the 3A Region 1 bracket. They'll be traveling over to South Walton coming up tonight. Again, probably 6 p.m. Obviously 2-game series, but South Walton, a powerhouse in Class 3A as they've had a dominating season. But it's baseball. Anything can happen. It's a 3-game series. A couple of the Bay pitchers get hot, maybe shut down the bats of South Walton, and potentially move on to the regional semifinals. Moving on.
They got it all over there, though, at South Walton, so that would be a huge win for Bay.
Yeah, absolutely. Good luck to, is that Coach Hudson over there?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I remember things every once in a while. Not very often, but every once in a while. The Arnold Marlins did win their district tournament. I think we talked about that on Friday. They've got the number 1 seed in the the Region 1 Class 4A Baseball Championship. They'll be hosting Fort Walton Beach tonight, 6 p.m., maybe 7 p.m. It's either 6 or 7. You guys look at the tickets on
I believe that the way that that Max Prep works is the time zone that you're in is what it reflects.
Okay. Well, this is on the Florida FHSAA website.
I don't know.
Well, the Max Preps thing didn't hold true last week with Arnold because we were going to come see some of that game after basketball practice, but the game was pretty much over as it did start at 6 and not 7. But, Arnold will be taking on Fort Walton Beach in a 3-game series starting tonight. 7 p.m., 6 p.m., go look on GoFan, and they'll tell you the actual time. Because if you're going to go, you need tickets, and you likely need to get GoFan tickets for it. And then they'll face the winner of Chalk-Tahatchee and St. Augustine with Clay and Bishop Kinney and Escambia and Wakulla going in the 3 and 6 seed there. So, again, the region quarterfinals start tonight for the Arnold Marlins. Regional semifinals will start on April 28th. Region finals potentially on May 5th. And then moving over to the Class 5A baseball state championship bracket. Region 1, the Mosley Dolphins ended up getting a bid into, they didn't win their district championship, but they ended up getting a bid into the state playoffs, and they won't be hosting, even though they're the 4 seed, they won't be hosting because if I remember this correctly, if you don't win your district and the other team does win their district, even if they're ranked higher than you, they get to host the home game. So Mosley will be traveling to Columbia to take on the number 5 seed. I don't really know where.
I don't know much about them.
Yeah, I don't even know where Columbia is. Maybe I can click on them and find out. Yes.
Sounds Ivy League-ish, though.
Columbia is an Ivy League school. Lake City, Florida is where the Columbia Tigers are. They were 15-10 overall this last season. But again, Mosley made it into the Class 5A baseball bracket on an at-large bid and have an opportunity to make some stuff happen. They will, if they end up going through Columbia, they will face the winner of Niceville and Milton. That's number 1 and number 8 seed. They've also got Lincoln and Ponte Vedra and Gulf Breeze and Childs up here in the Region 1 action. I know we don't have any teams in the Class 6A, so I think 5A is where we end up dropping. So good luck to all the local teams in our listening area as they start their state championship runs later on today. Again, go to GoFan if you want to see the exact times. That's going to have the exact time. I'm almost 100% positive on that one. All right, David Hayes, let's look at some of these games coming up tonight, both NHL and NBA. I want to get your thoughts. We'll start with NHL. I got my Toronto Maple Leaf shirt on. Appreciate Marty from Boston giving me and Jay one. I've got to wear it because I know Jay's probably never even put it on. It's probably... Actually, no, I think he did wear it in studio one time.
He has.
One time. We might need to get him back in with it on. Canadians at the Capitals. Obviously, we talked to Al Carl earlier this show, previewing all these matchups, talking about what he's got to do to get ready for it. You got any chance for the old Montreal Canadiens to steal Game 1 on the road? They're plus 160. Washington is minus 190.
I want to see if the Lightning are not the team to hoist the Stanley Cup. I really want to see the Capitals get it done. I think that would just put the exclamation point on the goal, the record-setting year here for a record-setting career for Alexander Ovechkin. But as it stands tonight, they are the number 1 team in the East. So I'm pretty confident in Washington winning a what do we have? What do we have as the? I hate how the app has updated and it's got one game that's got like all the props and everything. Yeah, and then you got to scroll down.
Yep.
I like them to win by 2 goals.
Ooh, so take them minus 1.5.
I like them to win by 2 goals and stay under 6 goals.
Ooh,
5.5.
Little double combination, maybe a little 4-1 game, something like that. I like it.
Yeah, 4-1 sounds good. I'll take that.
There you go. They probably got an exact score prop in there somewhere too, but that's a little bit tougher because empty net goals, yada yada. Blues at the Jets. Winnipeg minus 190. St. Louis plus 160. Winnipeg already won that first game back on Saturday. They got a 1-0 series lead. St. Louis has been one of the hotter teams going into the playoffs, but running into that Winnipeg buzzsaw.
I do think that they turned this series into a good series, and it goes at least 6 games. Give me St. Louis to even it up tonight.
Ooh, I like it. Plus 160 for the Blues. Not a bad opportunity there.
Give me the over in this one as well.
Yeah, it was 5-3 in the first matchup, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so you're going to have a lot of goal scoring in this one. especially if it's anything like the first one. Next game on the docket tonight, that's 8:30. It's the Colorado Avalanche taking on the Dallas Stars. Colorado stole that first game 5-1 in Dallas. Kind of shocked the Dallas Stars there. But Dallas, if they're looking to even up the series at home, they're plus 125. There's some value in that game if they can slow down the Colorado Avalanche. What do you think?
Oh, man, just a heck of a rivalry right here in general. Who won the first game?
Colorado 5-1.
Give me Dallas to even it up tonight. I think a lot of the times too, when you win that first game kind of big, that chip on the shoulder on the losing side, 100%. It grows tremendously.
You see it quite often. And then the last one, the nightcap, that's the Oilers at the Kings. Edmonton, I think, is a good one at plus 110 to start the series off. Obviously, the Kings really good too. This is the 4th straight year they've met in the first round. The way the new playoffs work and the seeding, I like Edmonton in this one at plus 110. What do you think, David?
Ooh, man. Give me. Wait, you got him at plus 110? I got him at plus 105 over here on Hard Rock.
This is on ESPN. It does the ESPN bet, so obviously ESPN bet's got a little bit better odds.
I'm just going to go with Edmonton plus 1.5 tonight, but I do think that they win.
Yeah, I like that too. I mean, they got to get hot. Goaltending for LA, a little suspect too at times. So things could get. Hopefully, I mean, I like all the guys on Edmonton. They're just fun to watch. But playoff hockey's a whole nother ball.
They are fun to watch, but it's hard for me to root for Edmonton for some reason.
Because they're Canadians.
It could very well be.
Not the Canadians. There's another team called the Canadians. And then we got only 2 NBA games coming up tonight. You got the Detroit Pistons, who find themselves down 1-0 against the New York Knicks. This is at Madison Square Garden. Currently, the Knicks are a 6.5-point favorite at home. 221.5 on the total over/under.
I think I'd go with the under and give me the Knicks to win.
Oh, I like it. Got to try to remember. You always remember this stuff, so most of the time, way better than I do anyway. And then you've got the Nuggets or the Clippers at the Nuggets. Denver won in overtime in this first game. I believe 112-110. The Clippers are a small favorite, pretty much just to pick them minus 1.5 on the road over there. In Denver.
But that plus 100 looks so juicy for the Denver Nuggets. Give me the Nuggets plus 100 there, and it's sitting there at plus 1.5, so I would just add the parlay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
if they're going to win, I mean, it's not very often is it just a 1-point game. So
sometimes they'll let you have those parlays, sometimes they won't. When it's like right now, they won't let you. They won't let you parlay the plus 1.5 plus the money line.
Because it's almost like the exact same bet to a certain degree. Yeah, I get that. But yeah, those are your 2 NBA games coming up tonight. The playoffs are in full swing. And, if you want to check them out, they're on we're not our radio's different than TV, but all the hockey games, nice to see on ESPN. It's nice to see a hockey night again here in the States, obviously. What is there? The
TNT and ESPN, I believe.
Well, and I was thinking of the Canadian network. I think it's TSN.
Oh, TSN, yeah.
They have a lot of, obviously, you can get that on Scorpion TV. Mm-hmm. You also need it down if you want a trifecta of T-shirts, ESPN Northwest Florida T-shirt, an Inside Drive T-shirt, and then, of course, a beautiful Golf Plus T-shirt from Alan Watson. All you got to do is download our free mobile app inside the Google Play or Apple Store. All you got to do is search 104.3, download it up, click on Enter the Contest, and you could potentially win yourself a trio. I was going to say trifecta again, but I said that word too many times. We'll be talking about trifectas here in a couple weeks.
Oh, yeah,
as,
the Derby.
We're getting close to the Kentucky Derby and the Triple Crown races getting started. That's when you know you're getting close to school being out, is when you have that the Triple Crown starting, because June is right around the corner, which it literally is right around the corner. And currently, 78 hours and 5 minutes till the NFL draft gets started up there in Green Bay, Wisconsin. They got a lot of hype to live up to after last year's draft. Was last year's in Las Vegas? Or was that a couple years ago?
I think last year's was in Detroit.
That's right, and it was rocking and rolling. I think Vegas was,
because they broke the record. Because originally it was, or not originally, but when they held it in Nashville held the record. And then Detroit last year went bonkers, and we'll see how it goes this year for Green Bay.
Yep, absolutely. Population a little smaller up there in Green Bay than Detroit, so we'll see what all goes down. Again, we'll have a great show. You got RJ coming up this afternoon to recap the...
I don't, man. He's got some exciting life news going on that actually has taken him over there to Texas, so he'll be working during the time. So it could be a matter of time before we actually have RJ on, depending on if they work with him or not to be able to do the spot with us. But you know how it goes, man. Work comes first.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But I'm sure you know who won yesterday in NASCAR.
No one, because they didn't have a Cup Series race for Easter.
That's right.
You'll be there watching Talladega next Sunday.
And we got Jackson State Jeff. We'll have to get him on the line when he is done. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us today on the Inside Drive. Tomorrow we got Doc A and just Doc A, and then me and David Hayes. And check out the Afternoon Underdogs from 4 to 6 p.m. We'll be back tomorrow at 11. Y'all have a great rest of your Monday.